Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. So, today I am going to show you, well, today I'm doing a new spawner, which, because I've previously been doing a drill spawner, which I will show you an implementation of here. So if we go down here, shoot away through these bad boys. So fly in here to take out that spawner. This spawner pops up and goes, haha, surprise! And I can take it out with a bomb. Now, I have two versions of this spawner here. Well, I have one version of it and I can alternate whether it comes out from the left or from the right. But what I can't do with it is make it come out the top or the bottom. So I need to make a change to, I need to create a new piece of art, some new animations, and then make a child object of this object that can then go horizontally. At least that's the plan for this afternoon, or the next sort of hour or two until I have lunch. Meanwhile, I suppose I should show you this level a little bit. This is a mission where you have to shut down some reactors by adding some extra uranium fuel to overload them. So if I, oh, there's the damn shell bot. Take you out. So if I go over here, without dying, which I'm probably about to do, grab this uranium fuel and then attempt to right. Oh, they've got shields. I'm so dead. Okay, and we come down here and I attempt to get through here without bang exploding or yep. Let's try that again. Let's take out this spawner while I'm here actually, because I don't want too many of those little cutter pods coming at me, especially as they have shields now and are really hard to kill. So hopefully I'll be able to pick this up without it taking too much damage. Oh, yeah, just about. And go down here and don't explode. Oh, damn it! Okay. Now what I need to do is once you get down here actually have a switch that you can turn these things off with, because yeah, they are very hard to get through. Ah, I'm dead. Okay, well, gonna make a quick note, my pad, to mission was that? Not sure what mission number that is. I think it's 14. These are switched to turn off the pistons. So at least if you go through, you're like, oh, I can turn these off if you fail the first time, and then you can turn them off and go back and try again. Okay, so I shall kill that. Go to Photoshop. So here's the vertical spawner. This is when it spawns upward, and then it'll be rotated to spawn downward. It's comprised of a couple of doors that will come apart, and then this little hinge bit that will swing up at the top. And then we have the actual rock hole that's hiding behind. Dink. I've also done some for the ice sections so that I can hide it in a bunch of different places. So first thing I need to do is find the export script. Save PNG, save JSON, ignore hidden layers, yep. So that will export all the little all the individual images, which is great. So just save that quick as well. And then we can go into spine. Here we see the horizontal one, which if I just oh god damn it. Screw you, spine. Let's come back. Right, so we can see the holes and the rock and the spawner that hides behind it. The horizontal and vertical, or horizontal left-right spawning is that handled by the animation, because if it wasn't handled by the animation, then if I handle it in spine, then the tile itself that it's hiding behind, because it's not hiding behind the tile, it's hiding behind a copy of the tile, that would also be flipped horizontally, and then it wouldn't line up at the edges here and here, and it would stand out as being like, why is that tile in the wrong way around? Well, it actually probably left and right it would be fine, because effectively it's just that bit mirrored, and these pixels here line up with these pixels here, so these pixels here will line up themselves, but the top and bottom part wouldn't line up. So, and also the way it's like drawn, it's lit from the top right, you can see with the sort of lighting and the shadow, so it would all stand out and just be a bit wrong. So I need to create a new animation file with the new bits and bobs from the for the vertical spawner, with all the same animations, so that it'll plug in and be used by when it's parented. When I create a child of the current drill spawner, it will just slot in seamlessly, because it has all the same animation names and same animation activity, and etc. So, okay, let's go new skeleton. No, not new skeleton, new project. Remove the current skeleton because I want to import my own. So import data, doodly doo, doodly doo. There, that one, and it loads it all in. Now, fortunately, because it's all lined up to begin with, because it loads it from where it was in what's the name, Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is start by hiding all the rocks, because I just want to be dealing with this stuff, and I'm going to hide 2 of the drill bits because I need to be dealing with one of them. So let's go root, create, and pop the bone on that will handle the body. Now from there we want to have this door, so add a bone for that one. Let's get it to 90 degrees just for neat and tidiness. Go back to the body again, get the other door, get neat and tidy. Now if I hide the body, I'm looking for this door joint thing here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select body. I'm going to try and select this door joint if it lets me. No. Okay. Do that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it, because I want one over here for the left side. Damn it. Disable those. The left side, so there's one sides. What I'm then going to do is drag that so it's a child of that one, and that so it's a child of that one. This way, when this moves... Oh, I've done those the wrong way round. I've called them the wrong thing. I've called door left for the right one and door... Oh, dumbass. Okay, so that one goes on there, and that one goes on there. Okay, now let's actually call that one door right. Rename it slot. Okay. Call that one door left. Rename it slot. Okay. Here we go. So now those two are done. Now I just need to select. Yeah, I've got door left select. That's fine. Create. Grab that one. I want the bone for this one to be about there. So if I hide the door, you'll see this kind of armature structure attached to it, and that's because I want that's sort of how the door moves. So yeah, that looks shite, doesn't it? Damn it. So my plan was, yeah, it doesn't really look right. This is the thing with drawing the sprite and then having to go in and animate it afterwards, is like, it kind of looks okay, but maybe if I move this bone up a bit to there, see what that looks like when it animates. No, that looks stupid. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it all to hell. Okay, move it to there. How does that look? No, that looks worse. Okay, you know what? I'll just have to leave it where it is, and yeah, that kind of works. Without going back and redrawing the sprite, I can't make it kind of pop out the way I wanted to. Okay, so drill hinge bone then is going to have the drill bit attached to it. And that should be everything boned up. Next job I need to do is, if I go into drill here, I find drill up here and drill up here, pop them all in there, get rid of those bins. Then what we have is this guy, I can switch these during the animation and it looks like they're drilling, except that one's not in the right place. Okay, so I think the bone's not in the right place entirely. Damn it. Okay. Bone dead center of that line there. And that way. Okay, that one's fine. That one's not. Move that, line it up. Yep. So now what I should see is a kind of approximation of a drill rotating. Yep, kind of. So, oomph. Last thing we need to do is, in both of these, I need to create a skin. I'll just call it skin. Like that, and then if we go down here to skins, I'm going to create a skin. Boom. And we put those attachments on the skin. And then if I create a new skin, if I just duplicate a bunch like that, we can add the ice ones. So we're now on 2, aren't we? Yeah, we're on skin 2. It's not what we wanted to kill those skins. Let's remove those. So this skin, we're calling it Rock 0. And we're going to go with Ice 0. And now if I duplicate Ice a bunch of times. Okay, so Ice 0 is going to have that and that. So now in the code I tell it which tile I want to be imitating, and then it just goes dink, dink, and stops the thing. So Ice 1, Ice 2, derp, Ice 3. There we go. So now I can imitate a bunch of different ice tiles and hide the spawner behind them. I'll have to go back later and add all the other possible kind of ones I can use for the sort of deeper orange rocks, the crystal formations and so forth. That's sort of have a good variation of all the different tile sets, as it were. But there's about we're going to be like 24 to 32 kind of different tiles that I'll be doing, although I won't be using all those, so I might just on the fly, when I'm like, okay, I need this tile here to hide it behind this one, just go and do that tile and add it, and then I can use it instead of just doing all of them as a, because then I'll end up with loads I don't even ever use. Okay, so all of these need removing. Donk, there we go, get rid of those. Close X, don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so now I need an animation which I'm going to call idle. And if I go into animation and just select all of these and then add keys for rotate and translate, and then on 5 add rotate and translate. That way I have a fixed just tell you briefly, let's go into Photoshop and I'll explain how I figure out my animations and stuff like that. So let's say we have a state of so state 0 will be idle or off, or generally not doing anything. And then I'll have it's going to have state 1, which will be open. So when the animation that it has when it's well, it'll have its idle state, which is state 0, will be when it's not doing anything. Its open state will be once it's been activated and it's spawning stuff, and then its dead state will be when you've shot it and blown it up. So these are the kind of 3 states this spawner can be in at any kind of given point. So when I'm creating my animated objects using Spine, I will figure out what states they're all gonna be in, and once you've done that, you can start thinking about your animations that link those states. So for instance, idle can go to, this thing's going to be hidden behind the rock, so if it's idle and then get activated, it'll come out of the rock and be open, so it can go from, let's add a layer in, it can go from idle to open, so it can go this way and bink, have an animation. Now, idle can't go to dead because it'll be hidden behind a rock and you won't be able to shoot it. It won't take damage. It'll just be tucked away there. So this here isn't an animation that can occur. Likewise, once it's open, it won't close again, so I won't be able to have an animation here. But from open, it can go to dead. So we know we're going to need animations for between those two states. But what about when they're at these states? Well, when it's at idle, it will need to remain at idle. So it's going to need an animation where it just remains in this state. And at open, it's going to need an animation where it remains in an open state. And in dead, it's going to need an animation where it remains in a dead state. So I know I'm going to need an idle animation, which I can call idle. I know I'm going to need an opening animation, which I can call open. I know I'm going to need an idle whilst opening animation, so idle whilst open. I know we need an animation where it goes from open to dead, which will be where it explodes. So we have an explode animation. Explode has an O in it. And whilst dead, it's going to need a, so we'll call it well, dead idle animation. So by writing down the states and drawing arrows to connect or remain at the states to determine what my animation needs are, I can then write down, and I have a map of what animations I require for each state. And once I actually go into the code and I'm writing the little bit of script that handles what animations will occur when, then I can again reference this diagram and say, okay, so I've just finished this animation, so I've just finished explode animation. What's my state? Well, after explode animation, whatever state it is, it's going to be the dead idle animation. If I'm state 0, I say, okay, what state am I now? I'm still state 0, so I finish the idle animation, I'm still state 0, so I'll carry on do the idle animation again. But if I finish the idle animation and say, well, actually I'm state 1, well, now I'm playing the open animation. So just doing a little chart like this, just on a notepad, just get a piece of paper, scribble it down quick. It helps you kind of visualize and think about what the animations are you need and how you need them and where you need them. So going back to here, got the idle animation. Now once you've got an idle animation like this, you can then duplicate that, because I know that having done the idle, I now need to do the open animation. So I go here, and I was calling this one idle open. So again, I have to match the names I used for the previous animated file. So idle open. No, wait, not idle open, just open. Dumbass. Idle open comes after open. So we make open, which means I'm going to remove that set of keys. If I hide the derp. Now the actual turning off of this hole is going to be handled in code, not in the animation. I've tried doing it in the animation, it didn't work, and so I just do it in the code. You just turn it off and spawn a bunch of what's names particles. Let's just save this project quick as well, because generally you wanna regularly save stuff in case your really old PC goes and crashes on you, and then you lose all your work, as mine likes to do. So the open animation, it's going to start with just that quick. Yeah, okay. So what's going to happen is the rock hole will have been turned off, boomf, and then this will just erupt. So we need to take the body, which is the base of it, and move it, and to its sort of final resting place, which will kind of got those turned off. So we're going to move it up. And how much of this do I actually want to show? I want to show the whole thing. Probably get there. Now, each of these in the background of spine, each of these cubes that you see, this grid is 32 pixels. So this is a 1 to 8 pixel. So here is the actual edge of wherever it's spawning from. This will be where they go and fight. So if this sticks up here and they're spawning and coming out here, this is probably about as far out as I want it to go. So that's a good final position. Now as it's coming out, at some point we want the drill to start opening. Probably here. So what I'm going to do is door left, just all of those. I'm going to bung in a bunch of keyframes for them, so that stops them moving until here. So then at this point, let's say about here, because you don't want error. If I put it here, they'll all open at the same time as this stops, and it all looks very mechanical. So I'm going to put them here, so that way they're kind of, for the love of, door hinge is on the wrong door. Let's try that again. So at this point, this is going to open up to about there. We're going to need to rotate door joint like that. So let's see what that looks like. It's coming up, coming up, coming up, and it goes zinc like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's do the other one. So door right. And we want that to go to about the same height and a similar distance to the side. And we want our joint to do that. So now what we have is ding, 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 ding. No, I don't like that. I reckon actually these are too high. So let's do that. See what that looks like. Because the other thing that's just occurred to me, come to think of it, damn it, damn it, damn it. The spawner's going to be about here, and at the moment they're going to be spawning from nowhere, so what I need to do is go back into here and modify the body part here so that there's actually a bit that covers that area up, which is easy enough to do in terms of if I just grab that grey there and we just essentially put a bit there like this. If I do that and then that, then I can see where I'm going. There we go, down to there, to there. So that will then, yeah, actually we can extend this bit down to the bottom, that'll be fine. So now it's got this little metal piece of armature-y thing here, which probably should have a bit of kind of detailing on it just to not look terrible. So let's just do that, and then okay. So we probably want this body to actually kind of yeah, okay, let's hide some more bits and bobs. So we probably want this to actually go up here, that way there's at least enough actual kind of stuff to hide the spawning, so they don't just appear like they're out of thin air. Diddly dum didum didum dum diddly dum didum didum. Oops. Oops. Diddly dum 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 didum didum dum 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 dum. Okay, and then we can export this. Yep. And if I go back to spine, you see it's already loaded in for us. So now, when I spawn the AI in this sort of area here, it'll be behind all this and it won't look like it's just coming out of thin air. I mean, you'll still, if you're looking closely, because there's not enough to cover it, but see how that actually looks when it spawns. Yeah. Now there is one minor problem I've just spotted actually. I need to go back into setup. And that's that this is no longer, because the size of the actual image itself changed, it's no longer in the correct place. So I need to drag you up till you connect there, and then check those so they're correct. Yeah, doesn't entirely look right, but yeah, no, that'll work. So we go back to the animation. If we just turn that rock on. So if we now play it, we should see yeah. So that'll pop up like that. The last thing, of course, we need to do is the drill hinge. So, what point do I want it to actually? I can there. If I start rotating from there, so dropping a keyframe at the start point, and bonk the hinge open there. So now what we should see is now another thing I could do actually is, if I go back to the body, select this bit here, you'll see that thin little line there highlights. So I can go into here and adjust the curve, and if I do this, it'll shoot out quickly and then slow down. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's much more of a sudden erupting kind of thing. So shall I drag that like that? Nope, that looks really... well... oh no, that's good, we'll go with that. Close that. The next thing I need to do is the actual drill. So I'll start on drill 1, so there. Select, so I can see the attachment keyframe changing. If I go forward 2 frames, do the next one, 2 frames, do the next one. Now if I select those, copy them, and then 2 frames paste, or 2 frames paste. That's probably a good time to have it stop, because we... no, I'll have it go all the way to there. If I deselect that, and you can see it spins the drill as it erupts. So that should do it for the opening animation. So now I'm going to duplicate that animation and call it, what am I calling this? I'm calling this idle open. Now what I want is whatever the end state at the last frame to be is those keyframes. So the easiest thing to do that is to collapse the animation by one at a time if I have all of them visible. So let's just drag this up so you can see all of these keyframes are what constitute that animation, and I want the last keyframe of everything to be the one that's used. So if I go to the overall at the top here and just collapse everything downwards one at a time, it'll overwrite the previous thing until the last one is the whatever the last animation keyframe dragged over it becomes the one used. And now by doing that, all of these keyframes are the final keyframes that make up the position it's in at the end of opening. So then I just duplicate that, put them on the keyframe 5. When I first started using Spine, I just thought I'll just put all the just for an idle animation, just all the keyframes on one thing. I don't need lots of frames of it. It's all just loops those and just does those frames. But actually, you need a little bit of animation, so you just duplicate the keys. So although nothing's changing, Gamemaker requires you to actually have that, so it's processing something. Otherwise, it kind of breaks. Now you could just have it at one keyframe on that, and that would actually work just as well. You don't want to have it over here, because at whatever point step the game is in, when you change the animation, let's say it's at step 15 in the animation, when you trigger the change from being idle to open, if you have an animation idle that's this long, then you've got all these additional steps, and in Gamemaker you're looking at that slightly over a second. So there's going to be a slightly more than a second of delay if you have an idle animation this long and you're sat triggering it early. So you want your idle animation to be quite short. Yeah, I usually do 5 frames, but that's a bit arbitrary and doesn't really matter. You can do fewer, but if you start doing like 10, 15 to 20 frames in your idle animation, then you're going to notice a lag. Yeah, I'll do it as free. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point, but there we go. So that's the idle open. Now if I then duplicate that, because as we saw with the little graphic thing I've done idle and then transitioning to open. Now open transitioning to idle open, and idle open will transition to explode. Although open can transition to explode, and because open ends with the same keyframes that idle open uses, it'll be the same keyframes that explode starts with. So I just take those same keyframes by duplicating the idle open animation and turn the idle open animation into the explode animation. So call this explode. Boom. Now I need to like make it look like it's dying and stuff. Given that it's a horizontally thing, I'll probably have it all die downwards by collapsing into the hole. So let's make the body boom, slide into the hole, but not straight away. So let's have a delay there. Boom. And let's make the door quickly just go bonk like that, and bonk and kind of fall in. Line that up. So it just goes dumph like that. So that one falls first, and then the second door will kind of fall in. After it, but that will be more. Let's make it fall back a bit, and then kind of slide down a bit like that. Door joint's going to matter too much if it's animated. Dumph. Okay, so that just sort of falls in like that, and we'll make the hinge as well, just sort of gets bump like that, and then it all kind of falls down the hole. It's probably a bit too far down the hole as well. There we go. So when it dies, it will go blip, 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 blip. So we're going to make that start moving sooner, and I'm also going to add some rotation to it, so it leans over a little. So it looks like it's fallen over a bit. So yep, that's deaded. So lastly, from explode it can go to dead idle. So we need to duplicate explode, call it dead idle. And then, as with the previous animations, just collapse all of this down to 1. Make a copy of it. So there, and oops. And there's the dead idle animation. So now if I save this and export it, and then go into Gamemaker, and then create a new, not creating a new object yet, it's the wrong thing, create sprite first. So create the new sprite, call it SBR drill spawner vert, and then load it in. Then I need to set the origin, which should be 0128. Set its sprite group to AI minor ground, So that. So now we're doing the new object, which will called obj drill spawner vert, and needs to be a parent of AI drill spawner. So let's open that as well. Now, what needs to be changed to make this work? Let's see, the creation code. Basically the same setup. Okay, the hit point will need to be in a different place. And the particles need to be emitted from a different place. That's basically the only change that needs to be done to turn its physics on. A box. That's not a box. Try that again. Why is that? Okay. That's what I'm going to do with the hitbox, or the physics collision, because it's going to need to eventually come out the bottom as well as the top. Actually, so if the spawner's going to be about here, we don't want this interrupting the path finding the spawned object. So a spawn will be out there, and then it shouldn't interrupt it. Okay, otherwise density 0, and that's it for the rest. So yeah, that should be the physics setup fine. Now this is where I need to change it. I don't think that worked in the end. Now I don't want to inherit, I want to override, because what's in room start at the moment. So let's copy this, pop it in. This is what happens for a horizontal one, and I just need to change this to work for a vertical one. So I can carry using the face left and have that as if it's going down. So the particle directions, if I'm going up, will be directly up is 90 degrees. So I want to be probably, let's go with 45 degrees as the minimum and 135 degrees as the maximum. That means it's a 90 degree arc going upwards. Now the other stuff I'll need to set, of course, is these values here, which are for the where the particles get spawned. Now that's going to be x at its left limit, and then its right limit will be x plus 128. Its top will be, now its y origin is at the bottom, so it's 100 minus 128, so that's fine, and this needs to be minus 64. So that will mean that an oval, an ellipse in this area here will be spawning particles, and then they'll be thrown up in a direction of 90 degrees. Yeah. So I think that's all I actually need to do for a vertical draw spawn to work. Now I should still have in my rooms, in my test bed from last time I did the previous version, it should still have, yep, there it is, the same setup for the spawner. So all I should need to do is move this out of the way. If I put this back over here with a size of 4, that's the trigger. So if I now add in the vertical spawner, I get down there, put this guy here, this trigger now needs to be pointed at vertical spawner. This guy needs to have that line so that it's pointing to this trigger, which will then trigger this guy to then up there. Let's remove these two because that was a new attempt at a different type of AI that uses the physics, which kind of works but is going to take too long to properly implement. I might be coming back to later. So that should now have been modified to, let's put you in the corner out of the way completely, to work. So now I need to set the game to run in campaign debug. Like that. And then if I run, so if I go into here and do this mission. Okay, now that's not right. What's wrong there? That's because the skin's not being set correctly. See what happens when I trigger, just in case, well, just to make sure the trigger works. Okay, that all looked like it was working correctly. And if I drop a bomb on it, it blows up correctly. Okay, so if I quit that and return to spine, okay, what am I doing? I'm getting this guy. I have to figure out why. Come on, spine. Come back. It's not working properly. Clicky, clicky, clicky. Yeah, that's basically just completely hung and unresponsive. This is not useful. I shall have to make Task Manager kill it. Boom! Okay. Now Windows is working again. God damn it, spine. Let's load it back up again. As I think the problem is essentially, well, I know what the problem is. It's not showing the tile because the wrong skin is, yeah, it's here. It's being told to load skin, to give it the skin of skin. But when skin is set up, skin equals rock 1. And of course there's no rock 1 skin in here, it's only rock 0. So the easiest thing to do is to make that rock 1. Dink. Okay. load you back in. One, two, three. Set the origin again. Set the sprite group again. And then this time, okie dokie. So this time we should see, yes. And when I fly over it, boom. No. God damn. Bugger, 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 bugger. Now this problem is entirely different. The hole didn't appear. Now the hole didn't appear because the bit that tells it to where is it? Yeah, this bit here where it sets the attachment. When I created, go back into spine, when I created the animation I didn't correctly name the attachment for the hole to be removed, so what I need to do is, yeah, that should be called, this bit here should just be called hole. Let's try that again. Hole. So now, if I save that and export it, and load it in, and set the origin, donk like that, okie dokie. So going back in, hopefully this time fly over here, big hole appears, boom, erupting drill spawner, spewing forth bad guys. Yep. And it dies correctly, and that's all working great. Yay! So that's yeah, that's implementing a new spawner, and later on I'll yeah, find places to put them in the levels and maybe figure out how to do the horizontal one. Yep. Wee. Wee. Well, that's enough for the moment. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I build the new animated spawner and stuff. Yeah, next time I'll probably add a few more bits and bobs to that spawner. I've also got a new little AI alert radar system that I'm adding that will be a sort of a warning thing that when you fly past and it spots you on its radar, it will start alerting the AI to come and kill you. That's one of the new things I'm going to be adding shortly. Yeah, which will hopefully be doing that soon, and you can come back and watch that. Otherwise, I'm going to go and have some lunch, so I will see you all later. Ta-ta, goodbye.